Hello, this is Mikhail Galushka and I'm keep explaining e-signing in a human language. Click like below the video and subscribe to the channel should you like it. This time we'll talk about how to identify the person you are signing document with. So how to know if the signee is the real person or the intended person which you would like the document to be signed by. In the physical world, you can meet the person face to face and compare the identity of the person in front of you with a passport or ID card provided to you and make your conclusions. In the electronic world it is different, because normally that person is not standing next to you at the moment of signing, but you still want to make sure who is that person signing the document on the other end of the communication channel. The first option would be that you know that person, you've been doing business together, you have participated parties, events, or you have shared some common knowledge which only you or just few of you could know. You maybe have chatted or emailed or called that person over the phone, so you know the number, you know the addresses. There are many attributes that you might know about that person which all of them together, or even some of them together, combined, they give you the assurance or confidence about the identity of that person. So should that person provide those attributes to you or let you know that you share those together, it is good enough for you to identify that person. Many e-signing providers support that approach by providing means to you to send invitation to the email addresses of the persons you know, or to the phone numbers, so like SMS messages, or to provide a shared password, so you require that password to be typed at the moment of signing, so which is a good proof for you about the identity of the signee. Still, it is not the direct proof, it is very indirect. Yeah. But you might find this acceptable for your circumstances. Usually, the activities performed by the participants of the signing process are automatically recorded by the system and then provided to you in the form of audit report file, an attachment or an extra document to the original one being signed, which serves as a proof of what have been done with that document during the signing process. It records who has sent the invitation to sign, who has received it, who has viewed, who has signed, which emails have been used for that, IP addresses, phone numbers. So it is a collection of different facts or attributes which altogether serve as an evidence of the identity of that person. At least it is supposed to work like that. As far as you find those evidences sufficient, this approach is good. It is smooth enough, easy to use, does not require any heavy onboarding for the signees. It is what is applied and used very often. But let's think, how far you can go with that approach? Well, as far as you yourself are confident that the credentials you are using belong to the intended signee and are in the control of that signee. Why should anyone doubt that? One major reason is that emails and text messages used often to identify and to authorize signees to sign the document are not considered secure enough. They can be rather easily intercepted and used to impersonate the intended signee without you even noticing that. All the evidences combined provide a better confidence than any evidence alone. However, it is still a very soft and unreliable proof. If it's good for you, it doesn't mean it will be good enough for any third party relying on that document, like bank, court, insurance company, or any government official. They do not trust it because they don't know what you know about that person. Your confidence founds on your individual past experiences with that person, and they, on the other hand, do not have those experiences. Therefore, they have just to rely on what you are saying. And this will not likely to happen. They will be looking for somebody they can trust and rely upon in providing the evidences. And then the question goes the other way around. Will you and your signee trust that somebody? Obviously, we have come to the point where there is no full trust in this triangle between you, your signee, and the third party receiving the signed document. There should be that somebody who you all can trust enough and who can assure and provide the evidences about the identity of the signee. Let's call that somebody a trusted identity provider. You would want that identity provider to initially verify the true or the real-life identity of the signee and then embed those evidences into the signature in the document. So any receiving party, any recipient of the document could get assurance of the true identity of the signee and rely upon that in their decisions. And here we get many more organizational and technical challenges. How the identity of the signee can be initially verified. Should this be a face-to-face meeting, a video call, or yet another trusted identity provider? Which documents are acceptable to verify their identity? Passport, ID card, driver's license, maybe student card, employee card, or the utility bills. How soft and how far with this list you can go in order to keep the identity trusted. Once verified, how the identity proofs can be securely delivered to the signee and kept with him or her until the moment of signing. The signee will have to know or have a kind of secret which he or she only in the world has access to and which is supposed to be used every time at the signing. This could be a dedicated special purpose device like USB key or microchip on the identity card or banking app which identifies you, maybe some other kind of mobile app or the authenticator application which generates codes or passwords with 30 seconds living period, so very short time when it's valid. It could also be a password and a username or a combination of those methods. This choice is extremely important. It determines the trust. There are more secure methods and less secure methods. The ultimate goal is to ensure that only this particular individual in the world could have signed this document. The trusted identity provider must combine technical, legal and organizational measures to ensure that at every step the secret of the signee is protected from being stolen or misused by anybody else, including their own employees. First, when generating a secret for the recently verified individual. Second, when delivering this secret to the person. Third, ensuring that the key can be kept by the individual securely in a longer period of time so nobody else could have accessed it and added some signatures without the individual knowing that. And four, making sure that the secret can be used by the individual when needed, presumably at the moment of signing. Throughout the whole life cycle of the secret, it must be ensured that the intended verified individual only could have used the signing key. Nobody else in the world should be able to deliberately or even occasionally access this secret. This is a fundamental requirement towards identity provider to be trusted by you, by the signee, or by any other third party. Usually, trusted identity providers describe the way they operate and ensure trust in their public documents like policies, practice statements, terms of use and other documents which can be easily accessed by any interested person in the world. Therefore, anyone can read through those papers and decide if the level of trust is sufficient for their particular circumstances, and the identities from that provider could be relied upon. However, let's be realistic. These are hundreds of pages. We cannot expect everybody to read those documents before they start signing. There are authorities, though, who define their requirements, and they check if the identity providers meet those requirements. Those who meet are being added to the list of trusted identity providers by that authority. So the regular signers don't need to go through all the documentation of the identity provider, they just can rely upon that list. Of course, if they find that authority credible for them. The requirements often include different types of audits or self-audits, certification, process description, documentation, security checks, which all together make this identity provider trusted enough. The authority could be a commercial organization setting its own rules and requirements towards identity providers which it trusts. The one to mention here is a well-known Adobe corporation. They partner with many different identity providers across the globe to check if they are compliant to be listed on the Adobe approved trusted list. The signatures of individuals assured by the identity providers listed on that list automatically appear green and valid in the Adobe Acrobat Reader software. The signatures coming from those who are not on the trusted lists are particularly signalized to the reader by the software. These look different and require more attention and more manual efforts to be verified and validated. Other types of authorities are governmental, like the one in the European Union. The requirements towards trusted identity providers are defined in the European regulation and are consistently enforced across the whole European Economical Area. This regulation is called eIDAS, which stands for Electronic Identification, Authentication and Trust Services. As a result, European Union has got its own list of trusted identity providers. It is called European Union Trusted Lists. This list includes trusted identity providers from across the whole European Economical Area. And luckily, this list is also used by Adobe Acrobat Reader software. So the signatures of individuals served by the trusted identity providers from this list also appear green and valid in the Adobe Acrobat Reader software. You should also understand the difference between commercial and governmental authorities who maintain the list of trusted providers. Generally, governments supplement their local legislation to support and accept signatures based on the trusted lists maintained by the same government. This significantly reduces the burden of proof for people in the courts or any other authorities or public institutions. In other words, signatures created based on the trust lists maintained by the governments usually have the same legal power as wet or handwritten signatures and can be used without doubts. These are normally called qualified electronic signatures. Now you can see how wide the spectrum of trust for the electronic identity of the individual can be. It starts from your bilateral trust between you and the signee and the use of soft evidences in the signature, while it can also be extended to the global governmental regulation and strict compliance requirements towards trusted identity providers, who everybody trusts in the triangle between you, the signee, and the recipients of the documents. However, the story of trust in the signatures does not end here. It goes far beyond the trust to the identities. We should also consider if we trust the software used to sign the documents and also the one used to verify the signatures in the documents. But I'll keep those topics for my next videos to explain e-signing in human language.